Welcome to Canal Lanes for the final match of the final event of the year on the Western New England Tour. In this match you're going to see Gary Santora on the left lane against Steven Renaud Jr. on the right lane. This is actually the second frame of the match. Gary started off with a 7 box and Steven had a 9 in the first box, and in the second Gary has a spare and Steven Jr. with a 10. Gary Santora reached the finals with a win over Rich Bober in the semifinal match, and Steven Renaud Jr. was the top qualifier, so he's been waiting around for the other 3 matches to finish. Now, if Steven Renaud wins this match, he will be Bowler of the Year on the Western New England Tour. If he doesn't win, then Dave Dupuis will be the Bowler of the Year because he's currently leading in the point standings. Beautiful shot for a spare by Gary Santora there. He covered that 3, 6, 7. Let's take another look at it. And as you can see, this is just a perfect shot. Gary cuts the 3 over into the 7. Very clean. And he's got 2 spares in a row. And Steven Renaud with a 9 drop, leaving a 7 pin. And Gary with 9 as well. So they both fill in their spares with 9. And Steven is all over that 7 pin. 2 spares in a row. Gary has a 5 pin with a nice little guide there. Shouldn't have too much trouble with it, and he's got it. Steven Renaud Jr. won the first event of the year on the Western New England Tour at Funtime Lanes in Holyoke, Massachusetts. That was in October. And he also won the event at Bogey Lanes in East Brookfield a couple of months ago. So that's why he's so close to the top of the Bowler of the Year standings. Gary, as we mentioned, is a past winner of a number of events on the Western New England Tour, but he's looking for his first win this year. And wow, there's another outstanding spare by Gary. He had the 4 horsemen right plus the 5 and 7, and let's take another look at that. Just about a perfect shot there, getting a pin to come off the wall and take the 5. So that is 4 spares in a row. Gary has 67 with a ball working, and Steven Renaud Jr. has 61 after 5. Gary adds 5, so he's got an 11-pin lead through 5, 72-61. Steven with a strike. Very light hit, as you can see on the replay here. It's a very light hit, but eventually the head pin comes off the wall, takes out the 2, and then the 4 and 5, and finally the 7 and 8 go. So that's a strike. The very lively scoring conditions here at Canal Lanes resulted in a lot of sidewall action and extra pins going down from time to time. So that's going to tighten it up considerably. Let's see what Gary can do with this out. He's got a 9 box, so he's got 81. Gary has 81, and Steven Renaud 71 with a strike to fill. And Gary with a little bit off target there. He misses to the left and drops 4. Steven has a 5, and he's got a makeable split here. He's got the 5, 6, 7, 9, 10, but a couple of pieces of wood that might help him. That one in front of the 5 and 6 is at a nice angle, and he's got it. It was maybe not quite the way he probably played it, but he got some nice action there, really throwing a lively ball, and that spinning wood came off the wall and took out the 7. Meanwhile, Gary Santora with an 8 box for 89 through 7. So Steven Renaud has 91 with a ball through 7, and there is a strike by Gary Santora. What an answer. That was just a hammer. You can see here, just high flush in that 1-2 pocket, and it takes just no time for those pins to go down. And meanwhile, Steven Renaud Jr. with a 4 fill on the spare. So he now has a 6-pin lead with 95 through 7 to Gary's 89, but of course he's up against that strike. And he just drills that head pin straight back. So it's going to be a seesaw here. Gary is going to retake the lead in all likelihood. That's going to be an 8-box for Steven, so he's got 103. I should also mention that besides the 2 wins on the Western New England Tour, Steven Renaud Jr. also went to the finals of the World Singles Tournament up in Bangor back in November. So he's really had an excellent year. And there Gary comes out on the quarter, but gets a good break and drops 8, leaving just the 1-3. So he'll be trying to convert this for another spare, and he's got it. And Steven gives it a nice try there, all over that right side of the head pin, but is not able to make the spare. So he has got, well, it's a 9-box, so Steven Renaud has 112 through 9, and Gary Santora has 119 with a spare up. And, ooh, kind of held onto that ball a little bit, just a 3-drop, so he's got 122, which gives him a 10-pin lead. And that means that unless he makes this spare, he won't be able to shut out Steven Renaud. Steven could still get a spare strike. Wow, and that's a great shot by Gary, but the 5-pin refused to go. So Steven Renaud is still alive if he can convert this spare. Not going to do it. He just missed the head pin. So Gary Santora is going to win this this match, and the final score is 132 to 120.